bit about energy. So welcome everybody. Oh, sorry, I didn't update. Okay, there we go. So I'm Nathan. I am one of the engineering outreach program instructors, and I am currently studying software engineering, and I'm going into my third year. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love to answer them. Sorry. And yeah, that's another Nathan. Yeah, I'm really glad there's another Nathan too. Now let's Nicole.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole. I'm also one of your engineering outreach program instructors, but I'm also the engineering outreach coordinator for this program. I graduated with a degree in biomedical engineering, and if you want to know more about it, feel free to ask your questions. So happy for you guys to be here.
Awesome. Okay, that's great that you like software, Nathan. If you have any questions about that or even biomed, let us know. Thanks, Chase. Jesse, if you want to correct me, please do. Quick code of conduct, right? Join the session with our first and last name makes it so that we can know who's in here. And then the thing about microphones and cameras, please keep them on mute for your safety and your privacy. If you want to answer a question on the microphone, I know it's a little bit easier sometimes than just typing it out. And if you're okay with that, it's okay. Just raise your hand, and then we'll ask you to unmute your mic, and then you can talk about it like that. The chat function has to be relevant, right? So only use it to talk about the activity during the session and answer and asking questions. Number two is making sure that we respect everyone in the virtual classroom. So making sure, we don't say anything rude. Everybody's answer is a good answer. And here are some more in-chat features and whatnot. So just gotta restate this again for today. Our disclaimer again, all our sessions are being recorded and they will be posted to the Engineering Outreach YouTube channel for people to look back on a later date. The focus will be on the facilitator and the presentation, so that's me right now. And you are not required to turn on your camera or your audio. And consent to being filmed was completed during the registration process. So we saw this yesterday. We're talking a little bit about STEM, maybe today, some more interesting engineering, right? We use our science, technology, engineering, and math to kind of understand the world and solve big problems. And of course, we're engineering outreach, so we are the engineers. If you remember from yesterday, anybody remember what like the big idea is kind of like for engineering? If you wanna kind of like break it down, what do you think the big idea for engineering is? And I have a hand raised. I have a couple hand raised, but I think I saw Jason's hand go up first. Jason, feel free to answer the question. If you want to unmute, you can, or if you want to type it out. What do you think engineering is? To create a solution to our everyday problems. Very true. Ima, if you want to unmute yourself, you can, or you can just type it in the chat.
I was gonna say to create something to fix a problem.
Very good, Ima. And to Nathan, Jason, and Prapti. Okay, Prapti. I think I got it. Okay. Let me know if I I did not. So yeah, the big problem solvers, right? So we're gonna have a problem today that we need to solve. We're going to be using a bunch of engineering fields within our lives. And hopefully today we will maybe look at a little bit of civil engineering and mechanical engineering and whatnot. Yeah. Awesome answers, guys. Thank you so much. All right, our design process. Remember how we start the engineering design process is we identify the problem. Right? After we identify the problem, then we brainstorm some ideas. Right? When we get some ideas going and we've got them on our physical piece of paper or something, and we can design a solution. right? And this doesn't have to just be one solution. You can design a bunch of solutions, and then hopefully pick the next best one. Test and evaluate. Ooh, almost Nathan, almost Nathan. Make a model, right? So we make a model of our design solution, and maybe even the problem itself. And then once we've made that model, we test and evaluate. And then after we've tested and evaluate, we can go back to any one of these steps and decide whether it was okay, or whether we need to start again from a different step. An architect or a software, or sorry, not software player, a soccer player. Oh, awesome, LeBron. Oh, a singer. Wow. So many cool outlooks here. Okay. So a recap from yesterday. Energy is the ability to do work. It cannot be created or destroyed. I think that's like the first law of like thermodynamics or something. But yeah, energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it is the ability to do work. Non-renewable energy, these are energy sources that cannot be reused, like fossil fuels, like coal and stuff like that. And renewable energy is clean energy that does not pollute the air or water, right? And it has this sort of like renewable tendency where it can kind of come back. Something like maybe like the sun, right? We're not going to ever run out of sunlight. And then there's wind energy, which is a renewable type of energy. And this is the process where wind energy is used to generate mechanical power. I have a hand from Jason. What's up, Jason?
Geothermal energy, because it comes from under the ground.
Yeah, that's a great example of a renewable energy source.
And yeah, just like wind energy never runs out, and solar energy.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, great examples, Jason. Thank you. So Jason was talking about geothermal energy. If you haven't heard of it before, it's like using the energy or the heat energy from the earth. And then he talked a little bit about solar energy, right, from the sun. I can't promise you guys, but we're not going to run out of sun soon. Hopefully. And there's like wind energy and stuff like that. I see some more hands, Ema and Jason. Ema, you can go first. Like I saw your hand first. I might be wrong.
I think that can you use that you use with that energy with the sun to like tell you how sunny it is or how hot it is?
Yeah, you can do, and you can take energy to do like anything, right? And I guess one example of that is like telling us how hot it is outside. Yeah, no, that's because the amount of energy that you get from the sun, I guess, is kind of dependent on that, Ema. So yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. And Jason, you can go again.
It's gonna be hard to replace fossil fuels because they've been here for years and they're like everywhere. So even like it's gonna take years and years to fully replace them with
Of course.
With what do you call it again? Renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's fossil fuels are still dangerous to the environment.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're just so dependent on them. That's very true right now, Jason. Thank you for sharing that. I know you've got a little graphic here. Shows off like a windmill if you somehow haven't seen one before. Talking about kinetic and mechanical. Okay, so force, if you've heard this word before, right? Force is kind of like this push or pull action, right? You make things move, you change their speed, or you change their shape, and you have exerted a force onto it. This little picture in the bottom left here, this little GIF, the cat sort of pushes the little ball toy or whatever
It's called a
and then,
washing ball.
oh, okay. Thanks, Jason. Let's just keep the mics on mute for now. Thank you. It's sometimes I get distracted a little bit, but thank you. And then there's a little balloon here, where the boy kind of pushes the balloon and you see it deforms a little bit before it starts moving. Signs that we've exerted a force onto it. And then here we've got these kids playing like tug of war, kind of pushing and pulling each other, right? And there's some evidence of some forces being some forces in play there. We measure all of our forces in newtons. Okay. And we can talk about mechanical work. We saw a little bit about that on the last slide where we kind of convert that wind energy into like mechanical work. And work is defined as like the amount of energy transferred by a force on an object, right? So from our law of conservation of energy, right, we cannot destroy energy, or energy cannot be created or destroyed. We know we know that the higher an object is, sorry, that's not from the law. We know that the higher an object is, like above the surface of the earth, the greater its gravitational potential energy. So, right, like if I were to be holding a rock like this little dude is in that GIF, the dude picks up the rock and it has more gravitational potential energy than before, and then drops the rock, and then it starts to lose that gravitational potential energy, and it kind of converts it into like a kinetic energy, right? It moves, and then it has some energy from its movement, right? But the question is, how do we explain it getting more energy as it goes up, right? It gets it from gravity, right? But like, where did it come from, right? It's at a higher state, I guess, of like energy, and here it's at like a lower state. I'm just trying to make sure that my hands are on camera right now. So here the energy is lower relative to here where it's higher, right? And then where did that energy come from? And the energy came from, anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess where we got that energy from? Right? From here to here. Higher. Yeah, it's higher. But that's kind of like how we defined gravitational potential energy. Because it goes down faster. The taller they are, the harder they fall. Yeah, it's true. Because I guess you have more gravitational potential energy if you're taller. So I'll give you guys the answer. Because we did some work on that stone, or on, like, let's say this roll of tape, right? I've done some work on this roll of tape, and the way that I've done this work is because I've exerted a force onto it, right? So I have pushed this tape. It is either deformed or it's moved, and I've moved the sort of roll of tape, right? You can see I'm moving it across my hand, and I'm exerting a force, and then it travels a distance. Make sense? I exert a force and it travels a distance. And if we were to multiply the force I applied times the distance that it travels, we can get the work that I did on the object, right? So in this scenario, I'm doing some work on it. Even if I'm lifting it up, I'm doing some work on it. And this is actually 2 rolls of tape. Not sure if that was a relevant piece of information. But yeah, this kind of explains why we can have like a negative work or a zero work, right? Because if this object is stationary, right? And you know, when you push an object, it doesn't start moving until you push really hard, right? I'm sort of exerting a force on it, but the distance it travels is 0. So if we multiply something by 0, our answer is going to be 0, right? What don't you understand, Jason? Okay, and then while Jason, the distance, right? We can measure the distance that it travels, right? So if I were to grab my ruler, wherever I've put it. Okay, well, we'll just say that this pencil is like, I don't know, 10 centimeters. If this were to travel, right, from the tip of this pencil all the way to the tail of this pencil, right, 10 centimeters, this roll of tape traveled, right? I exerted a force on it and made it travel 10 centimeters because I pushed it, right? So I exerted a force and then it traveled 10 centimeters in this direction, right? Exert a force, travels 10 centimeters, we're good, right? Because it traveled a distance when I exerted a force, that is work. And that's where we kind of get our energy from. That's where we kind of get that extra gravitational energy. Okay, cool. We can talk about hydro energy and water wheels. So hydropower is the process where we take moving water to generate some mechanical power, and then that mechanical power is turned into like some energy. The water source that we can get it from is like rain or melted snow from like mountains or hills, anywhere where the water has to flow, right? So that way, if the water is moving from like a higher point to a lower point, we can kind of take that gravitational potential energy from the water that it's converting to movement, and then we can spin like a water wheel. And this has been used in history to kind of grind wheat into flour. All right, so we needed some big forces to constantly grind wheat into flour, and water wheels just happen to be great with that. So you talk about hydro energy and water wheels here, the different designs of some water wheels, three kind of main ones. The undershot is the most basic and it's pretty inefficient, right? We kind of just push some paddles, right? You can see the paddle design in this design is just like a flat bar, right? That water kind of just hits that flat bar and our water wheel moves. And the wheel is directly reliant on the speed of the water flow. There is the breast shot water wheel, where you can kind of see it's like an L-shaped. You can also use a bucket in this scenario, but the sort of L-shape does fine as well. This is more efficient than the undershot one, but it relies more on the weight of the water to fill the buckets, which is a little bit more consistent than the undershot. And then there's the overshot water wheel, where we kind of have fully closed off like buckets. And this is the most efficient out of the three. And this is where the buckets are filled at the top, and then the water in them kind of can do more work. Okay. So we can talk a little bit about hydropower plants. In your hydropower plant design, we have kind of three sections, three main sections, sorry, definitely not three sections. There's the electric plant where the electricity is produced, and that's over here with this generator and turbine and transformer and everything. And then there's the dam, which controls the water flow. So this here is the dam, right? And this sort of like sliding block will control the water flow. And there's the reservoir where the water is stored, right? So this is over here, right? So that you can hold all the water and not just have it kind of overflow your entire system. Oops. So one cool thing about hydroelectric power is that it provides like almost 1/5 of the world's electricity. And then China, Canada, Brazil, United States, and Russia were the 5 largest producers of hydropower in 2004. And one of the largest hydro plants is the Three Gorges on China's Yangtze River. Probably won't pronounce that right. The dam is like 2.3 kilometers like wide, and then like 185 meters high. So really big dam. And you can kind of see some really cool shots of it here. Yeah, that's a great answer, Vladimir. Another one that's close to home is the Niagara Falls kind of river dam, which we use, and it is huge for our power generation. Right. So This is our Niagara River and some of the hydropower stations, right? This one generates all of the I guess like Sir Adam Beck, if I'm correct, all the stations together will produce almost like, probably won't understand what this means, but like 4.9 million kilowatts, right? And that's enough to power 3.8 million homes. Thanks for that, Nicole. How is water converted into electricity? Is it due to the water energy that is converted into another source? Exactly, Jason. I'm glad you got that. So Jason was asking and kind of answered his question a little bit about how the water is converted into electricity. So I got this tape roll in my hand now. And he also was wondering if that's due to the water energy that's being converted into another energy source, which in this case is like electricity, which is absolutely correct. Yep. 1,000. Okay. That's our hydropower plants. Some pros and cons about hydropower plants. They're a renewable source of energy. There are no harmful byproducts. They can be used for like 50 plus years, and the reservoirs can be used for boating and other activities. Some of the cons about hydropower plants. They may affect the local water ecosystem. They have a high start and build cost, and may cause relocation due to flooding, right? Always some pros and cons, right? About damming, disrupting wildlife and what like that. But it is arguably one of the cheapest ways to generate electricity. Also because of just how much electricity it generates. So let's identify the problem for today. Our mission is to help Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs lift their mine diamonds from the underground mine to their home using the power of moving water. Okay, and I kind of spoiled it at the beginning, but maybe we know what we are going to be kind of building today. But we're going to be thinking about some different types of water wheels and paddles you've seen before, and hopefully make a cool water wheel. Our goal is to make a water wheel. To those who didn't get it, I'm sure Snow White could use a little bit of help, and the dwarves. Can you make any of the designs with the materials you have at home? Anybody want to share some types of water wheels they've seen before we get into like the materials or something? Nikita.
Can we use Legos instead of the materials?
If you can find a way to make it work. It might be a little bit hard to use Legos. I'd love to see it, I guess. My idea would be like maybe holding like all the paddles and whatever, you can use like Legos to kind of put it up in the air, and then have like a stick that runs across, and then you can kind of run a water wheel in the middle. That's definitely a thing. Yeah. So it might be a little bit hard to use Legos, but do not let me inhibit your creativity, Nihita. If you want to use water wheel, if you want to use Legos and you think you can do it, you got it. Meki. Oh, saw a hand. It's okay. How do we build it? Okay, we had some.
It's pronounced Mackay.
Mackay. Okay, did you have a question, Mackay? I saw your hand up.
Oh no.
Okay.
I pressed it by accident.
Okay, all good, all good. That's what I thought. So thank you for correcting me, Mackay. So yeah, Nicole says breast shot and overshot are some good examples we've seen before. You need some stuff around the house. Yeah, there was like an email sent out that kind of showed how the materials, and this is kind of like our materials list. So I'll go through and tell you kind of why we need the materials that we listed. So there's the paper and pencil, right? That's just to brainstorm your ideas. I'll show you in a second, Ima, hopefully. We can work through it together, how we are going to build this, right? That's the big question. Ruler, tape, glue, scissors. These are going to help you create your model. These are just like general like binding, cutting and stuff like that. Paper and plastic cups. These are going to help you build the paddles of your water wheel if you want. Paper or plastic plates to create the base of the water wheel and connect the paddles together. So I've got some plates here, different sizes. Some wooden sticks to create the shaft to allow the water wheel to rotate. So I've got some pretty long sticks I'm probably going to need to snap. But honestly, it will probably work just fine if I don't pull my headset out of my ears. First step. And then a faucet with running water. For me, right, I cannot relocate myself to a sink. I've just got my 1 liter bottle here. That'll be my water reservoir for now. Okay.
I don't have all the stuff we need.
Oh, so this is where we can be a little bit creative, Nihita. If you have maybe like popsicle sticks and like a plastic cup, maybe you can like cut your popsicle sticks in order to make them like fit in like a plastic cup. Have like some really tiny wheels, some really tiny paddles, right? So if you were to cut a popsicle stick like at sort of like this length, then maybe you'd be able to kind of glue them together and then make like a really tiny water wheel.
But I don't have any paper, like plastic cups.
Huh. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of any other solutions. Maybe you can ask your parents, Nihita, to help you with to help you make a water wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. So let's design our solution. Okay. So our paddle design, let's think about it. First off, how big are we gonna go? So for me, to whoever is raising their hand really fast, I'd ask that you don't do that. I can see it very clearly. Thanks. So maybe our first question is about the size. So how big do we want to go? And I would say about like a dinner size, like a dinner plate sort of size would be pretty good. So that's what I'm going to be using. This is not for our paddles. This is for the sort of structure of our water wheel. I saw some new hands. Makai.
How are we going to build this?
Okay, we'll see some example designs in a second. Ima, did we have a new question? Did we have a new question, Ima?
When we make it, I don't understand how do we get it to like, why do we need the water to do it?
So we need the water to do it because this is kind of like, we're not going to go take this to Niagara Falls, right, to go generate some water. This is kind of just like a model of our solution. Hopefully, kind of like just like give an example about how a water wheel would work in the real world, right? So this is kind of just like a really scaled down model of a water wheel. Okay.
And they also don't have any paper plates.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I wish I could help you, Ima, but I can't get anything to you. So if you want to just follow along with me, that might be the best solution. Sorry about that. So for our paddle design, let's think about what do we want to use for our paddles. We can use popsicle sticks or something, but that might be a little bit short, right? We can use paper cups as well, right? If we stick a paper cup onto a paper plate, right? Maybe we can use that to kind of hold water. Anybody else have any solutions about what we can use for some paddles or whatnot? Oh yeah, cardboard as well instead of paper plates. And then the number of paddles that we can fit. The base design, how do we make sure our water wheel can resist from getting wet? And then how do we ensure that water wheel moves due to moving water only, right? How will we attach the paddles together to form a wheel? And how do we make sure it turns properly? A bowl to store more water and increase the force. Yeah. So think about these questions, right? How are you going to attach your paddles together? What is your paddle design? What is your base design? Here's the materials list again. And I might need to grab some glue from over there. Okay. So I didn't want to show this if we don't need to, but here are some great examples about some water wheels people have built before. So this person did one plate with a bunch of spoons kind of taped onto the center. This one had like a very nice design, cut out very cleanly, maybe using a computer or something. This one here, I don't really know what that material is. It kind of looks like a lid to something, and then some like plastic like trays. And then here's like one with a paper plate and some styrofoam cups. And for me, I think that's what I will be doing. I'm going to try to make that sort of styrofoam plate and styrofoam cups to try to make that water wheel with the sort of cup sandwich in between. Okay, so you need to grab some more styrofoam plates. Ima.
Can we use like a square of cardboard for the paper plates?
Yeah, you can. Awesome. If you have some cardboard instead of paper plates, that's perfect.
Okay.
Makai, what's up?
We only have 2 spoons right now.
Okay, so maybe test it out with 2 spoons and then try to brainstorm what would this be like if I had more spoons, right? It's okay if you only got 2 plastic spoons.
Okay.
If you think, what's up? What's up, Ima?
You have your global paper upstairs.
Okay, so I'm just gonna grab some styrofoam cups that I've got here. Oh, sorry, what's up, Ima? Oh, that's
like paper cups, but I only have paper bowl.
Paper bowl. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Huh. So what can we do with a paper bowl? Maybe we can use the bowls as like the sides of it, and then we can stick something in the middle, like a popsicle stick or something like that. We just need to be as creative as possible. Give me 1 second, Nathan. I'm just going to grab my styrofoam so that we can do this, and I'll answer your question in a second. Just rolling back into frame now. Okay. Okay, it seems like Nathan can use a bowl to move vertically and glue it to a plate. Yeah, okay. Was that what you wanted to raise your hand to say, Nathan? Use a bowl to move vertically and then glue it to a plate. Okay. I'm trying to see. Glue the bowl to a plate and then kind of like move like vertically. Okay. Okay. on like a shaft or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm kind of like envisioning like some sort of elevator, Nathan. Am I correct? Am I assuming that? No. Okay. So maybe you could turn on your mic if you want, Nathan, and you want to explain it that way, but you don't feel need to.
Um,
Yep. Okay.
What you can do is that you can like glue it to the plate. Like you can put the plate flat. You can put the plate flat, and then you can glue the bowl to the plate, and then when you put the bowl like that, you can move it instead of making it like a normal wheel where it goes like the other way. You can put it flat, and then it moves like how do I?
Like this?
Yeah, like that. So the water will be scooping, the bowl will be scooping the water.
Oh, as it passes underneath, then it would do this.
Be scooping the water, and the bowl will be releasing the water.
Yeah, that works. So that is an example of a water wheel. Yeah, awesome. I see a new hand from Ima. What's up, Ima?
I just have a question, but how does the water wheel supposed to work? Like, what does it do?
So we can take a look at this video if we'd like. Just some pictures about how they made their water wheel. Oh, excuse me. And then here's a video.
best
About,
idea ever. That could,
pretty cool, right?
I could just cut these ends of my paper plate,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll make it as the fins of my of the water wheel, and then I could stick them on, and then it would look like, and then I get a bucket and keep it under.
Okay. Go for it, Nahida. See what happens. And then if it works, then that's awesome. Okay. Okay. We're getting a bunch of hands. I'm going to start creating my design. Okay. And then I'll answer your questions as I do. Okay. So first off, we had, I'm not sure whose hand I had first. Lima, sure.
So I have these ones.
Okay.
I have a lot of them.
Okay. So maybe what we can do is use those as like the sides, like I would be using my plates, right? Use those as the sides, and then see if you can put like sticks or something in the middle. It doesn't have to be like a cup, right? Just like anything that you can put in between, so that you can kind of get that rotating.
So I can use this. So I can use these.
Yeah, why not, right? Use those as the paddles. And then if it works, then awesome. And if it doesn't work, then we can redesign and kind of see where did it fail, or where did it sort of collapse or whatnot. Okay, Nathan?
I was also thinking that you can cut a hole in the bowl, like a small hole, and then you can attach it to your plate, and then you can spin it.
A hole.
Under the bowl, you can cut a hole, and then you could put it on your plate like that, and you can spin it. Not flat, but look at the pictures that we're seeing, the one that's like in the middle top, like that. But instead of that, you cut a hole in the bowl, right? And then you put it on the plate.
cut a hole in the bowl and then put it. This sounds like a great idea, Nathan. I don't know. I can't visualize it.
Okay.
I really want to. Cut a hole in your bowl. So if I were to, so this is my plate and this is my bowl, Nathan. Let's say I've got two. I cut a hole in this.
Yeah.
And then where does this go? Like here?
Like how you put a cup normally. Like, well, not exactly, but like on it, like on the edge.
Like
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then this just kind of does this?
Not exactly. It moves the normal way. It just moves.
It
and
moves
then
like this.
Yeah, and then the bowl scoops up the water on it
Uh-huh.
and releases the water.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's a pretty good idea. I like it.
Thanks.
If anybody wanted to try that, feel free. Sounds like a great idea. Makai. What's up, Makai?
The bucket, please.
We don't have a bucket right now.
Like a bucket for like to put the water in?
Yeah.
So maybe you can just like hold it between your fingers and then run it through the tap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or you could just use a bucket like you use when in the bathroom or something, and then you can fill it up and then keep your water wheel in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Ema. If you try that and it works, let us know, and then maybe someone will use your idea. Ema, did you have a different question to ask? I noticed your hand was up.
I just forgot to put it down.
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting. I keep calling Nahida Ema, I think. I'm so sorry. Let's check on our time. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just gluing my styrofoam cups to my plate. Right now, I've got 2 done. And then once I've got them all glued, I'm going to put the other plastic plate to kind of sandwich them in. Okay, so it's looking pretty easy for me to do 4 paddles or 4 sort of jugs. So I'm going to go with that. Sorry if this is really loud and obnoxious. Let's stick this tape on here. Any updates on how yours are going? Oh, I see a hand from Jason. What's up, Jason? How can I help you, man? Okay, Jason, I can't hear you right now if you're speaking. Kareem, would you like to go?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I hear Jason. What's up, Jason?
This is my design. I'm trying to show you.
I can't see it just yet. There we go. Okay, let's check it out.
But I'm gonna fill it with water, and then I'm gonna lift this up over here. So
Sorry, Jason, I'm just getting my zoom. Okay.
I think
Okay.
it's just one,
Right, that's fine.
but it's big enough so it scoops the water out, like a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So awesome design, right? I can't tell you how perfect it'll work,
Yeah.
right? That's where we test and we use our engineering design process. So that's awesome. Really good job, Jason. So here's what mine looks like so far. It's 4 cups taped to a plate. Kareem, sorry if I cut you off there, Jason. Kareem, what's up?
I don't know what to do because I was a bit late.
Okay. So right now we're making water wheels. You can kind of just follow along with me right now if you're a little bit lost or whatnot. That's totally fine.
Just lost.
Yeah, so I don't think we have much time for you to make your water wheel, but you can kind of just follow along with what I'm doing. I wish I could show you without this sort of. Okay, so
So
I've
I
got some
paint
tape.
them to so I paint them like this.
If that's what you want your design to look like, yeah, you can. Right now I'm using the other side of it, right? So this is kind of like where you would eat from, and then this is like the back side. And then I'm gonna tape this on like this. And then I've got 2 plates sandwiching my 4 cups.
Okay.
And yeah, Nicole made a great point, actually. These are going to be uploaded to YouTube. So if you want to watch back and kind of work along after the session, right, you totally have that freedom. I'm going to do a couple more.
That's what I'm gonna do. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick both of these plates together, and I'm gonna even add this in the middle so I can turn it.
Of course.
Then I got these, and they're gonna be the paddles of it.
Wow.
And I'll stick it on.
Okay, that's pretty good, Nahida.
Thanks.
Okay, so now I've got some tape on my cups, right? And then I'm just going to stick this on like that. And there we go. I've got my sort of base design and some paddles sticking onto it. And then now I'm going to drive a skewer through these. And for you, you can just take your water wheel to the sink and try it out. But I do not have that luxury. This is my drive shaft. And there we go. So if some water were to hit this, right, it kind of rotates. Let's hope my design is strong enough. And I will take this hole here, wherever is the best to kind of see it for you guys. What I will need to do is I'll need to make this shaft longer. I had a suspicion that I might, but it's okay. I'm going to push this shaft to the end like that, and then I'm going to add this shaft in the middle. I've got this extra long water wheel. Okay. And my water wheel is in the middle. Now it's inside. Okay. And luckily for me, styrofoam is waterproof. I'm not using like cardboard or something. If I were to be using cardboard, if it were to fall into my reservoir, right, if I were to drop it, it would get really wet. It's not something that you worry about when you build actual water wheels. Well, I guess it is, right? You don't want to use something that'll rust or something like that. But here we go. I'm going to try. So I've got my reservoir and I've got my water wheel, and I'm going to go for it. Let's tilt it a little bit so that if I were to start the flow, oh, there we go. Now it's falling in. Let's do it again. And you see how it kind of, it rotates really nicely. To be honest, I didn't check if there were any holes in this bucket before. I'm really glad there's not. And I didn't just pour a liter of water out. But yeah, you noticed that when I poured that water in, it rotated like really fast, right? We got a lot of energy out of that sort of flowing water. Yeah, really nice, right? Thanks, Dana. Anybody have any solutions or modifications that they would make to my water wheel after seeing that demonstration? Water is life, Jason. Yeah. Because I have one. I have a suggestion about my water wheel. Okay. So for me, I would think, did this work? Yes, it did work, right? But number two, should we make any changes? Definitely. When I was pouring the water, I couldn't really hit like the cup, the inside of the cup. Sometimes I was hitting like the outside of the cup. So what I would do is I'd add more cups, right? More paddles. That would be my solution. Can the design turn on its own? That was our original question. Yeah, it kind of did. It would have to come in at a sort of angle. But yeah, it could. I started at the beginning, sort of a little bit too early. I shouldn't have pushed it with my hand. But if I were to hit the sort of edge of the cups, then yes, it would spin on its own. Okay. So that is kind of what I did. Does anybody have any sort of suggestions or changes that they made to theirs or that they could make to theirs? Right? Did anybody's water wheel fail? Maybe that's even better than it working the first time. Sometimes it failing is a we'll tell you some changes that you could make even before. Okay. So everybody's water wheel worked immediately, or are we still working on our water wheels? That's probably the answer. We're all probably still working on our water wheels. But it's okay, we've got some time. Working, okay. If anybody noticed any flaws, ooh, your tape is kind of weak. Okay, so yeah, Scotch tape is pretty good. Or like this, like, I guess this isn't Scotch tape, this is like painter's tape or something. It was pretty good in holding everything. But maybe we can use like shafts instead of tape, right? For the cups. Well, what that would mean is the cup would be able to rotate. Using tape with water obviously isn't such a great idea because the tape will lose its stickiness, right? After it comes in contact with the water. And then there's also shafts that you can use. You can also use glue if you've got like a bottle of Elmer's glue or hot glue. Maybe not hot glue if you're working with styrofoam. It'll melt the styrofoam. Or you could do some fancy origami. Gorilla Glue, the glue for you. Some advertising there, Nathan. Got it. Yeah, I hope they're paying you at least. Not doing any free advertising.
So I did kind of finish mine because I need glue or tape to I need to glue this part, and then I have to glue these to this.
Okay. So once you get some tape or whatnot, you can go ahead. Oh, bye, Prapti. Take care. Someone was just heading out, Nihita. So yeah, once you get that glue or tape, feel free to try it out. Maybe you can watch the video after, and then kind of see how it works. But other than that, hopefully it would work, Nihita. Anybody have theirs they'd like to share or they'd like some help with? We've got some hands. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. Jason, do you have a question, suggestion, solution? From our
I have to
friend.
put my hand down.
Oh,
But
okay.
so you said something about that tape wouldn't be a good idea?
So maybe tape isn't a good idea in the long term, right? Because tape kind of has this funky sort of thing where it loses its stickiness after you expose it to water, right? So I'm touching some tape right here on my water wheel, and it's not sticking to my finger as I'm pouring water over myself. It's not sticking to my finger. That's because I poured water on it, right? But the part that's already stuck down will maybe last a little bit longer because the water's not getting on that adhesive as it is over here, right? So that's just something you have to maybe plan ahead for. You should do some more testing with your water wheel if you want to make this into a solution, a proper solution. Maybe think about using water resistant adhesives or sort of binding materials like a glue that'll finish and harden, or something like, oh, my camera just died. I've got a spare battery ready. This time I'll do it a little bit faster than last time. So yeah, that's what I was saying, right? But I used what is it called? I use tape on mine. So if you use tape, it's okay for now. Here we go. I'm back. Just pop one of these in. We have a hand from Ima. What's up, Ima?
So I don't know, since I put the two cardboards here, I don't know how to put the cups in between.
So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to kind of push the cardboard together. Do you have glue, Ima? Do you have tape? Do you have glue? Do you have?
You mean like this?
String? So yeah, and the cup is going to go inside. So I kind of have something similar to you, Ima, right? So if you can imagine, this is your cardboard, my plate's here, right? If this were to be your cardboard, right, you kind of put the cup in between, and then you push the cardboard together, and then it kind of squishes your cup, right? And then you can maybe use some tape to hold it all together. If you don't have tape, maybe you can use like a skewer that can like go through and then kind of go through all of this. Oh, okay, you've got some tape. Awesome, right? So what I did is I taped it to one plate, and then I pushed the other plate onto it. Then I taped it like that. Okay. So while you work on that, Ima, is it okay if you have to go now? You finished your model? Yeah, okay. That's totally fine, Nishi. I'd ask you how it's going, but if you have to go, it's okay. You are free to leave. Yeah, you're okay? Okay. So how did your model go? Oh, sorry, Ima, 1 second. How did your model go, Nishi?
It's like the one on the other slide. I just used one paper cup, and with the yellow bucket next to the green one. Yeah. Okay. So cool. I took the base of the cup, like it has like a little layer of the base of the cup, and then I took the upper part of the cup and I cut it into little squares or rectangles, and then I attached them and folded them just a bit so that it like moved it looks just like the one that was over there. But I used only one cup and it worked. Like I still have to put the sticks, but it'll work.
Awesome. Nishi, very resourceful.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're free to go. And we are encroaching, and we have arrived at 10 o'clock. If you're done your water wheel, if you have to leave, feel free. We can give like 5 more minutes to those who want to stay. I'm going to stop the live stream for now. And the live stream just like that. And if you need to leave, or if you